as a hypnotherapist and executive coach is, Susan, can you help me be more confident? And the answer is yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely no problem. Here is why. Well, first of all, what a worthy request, isn't it? Because when we think about, and by the way, you don't need to share this with anybody, but why would learning how to be more self confident be a worthwhile investment? I think this is a no brainer because personally, I just want to give you some samples from my life, right? When I think about, and this was way before I was even a hypnotherapist, I was in the fitness business. I had my own fitness biz, right? And when I just even think about all the many ways I did not market and promote because I was too self conscious and I was too afraid of what people might think of me and how they might criticize me and judge me, and how I would hold myself back because I thought, oh, I shouldn't impose on these people, or felt like an imposter. Oh, who do I think I am? Oh, I'm going to fail at this. I'm not going to succeed. Oh, all these other trainers or fitness pros, they're so much better than me. They're so much more educated than me. They have so much more experience than me. Who do I think I am? And so this lack of confidence can often hold us back from living our best life because it keeps us small, it keeps us stuck, it keeps us hanging out in the comfort zone where, of course, nothing good happens there, nothing can grow there. But on the flip side, it will lead to anxiety and fear of judgment and perfectionism and overthinking and a constant wondering and worrying, what are people thinking of me? And, what if they don't like me? And what if, and even here, look, being on social media, obviously, one is such an easy target for negative feedback, for criticism, for, right? All kinds of things happen here, which cringe, it's, and think about it, especially social media, how easy it is to hide behind a profile that sometimes there's not a picture, not even a real name or a real, right? And yet people have no problem, right, throwing eggs at us on social media because it's just so easy to hide behind, the facade, right? But keep in mind, when we hold ourselves back because of this lack of confidence, then not only are we missing out, right? Promotions, impact, we could provide for our communities, for the people that we serve, income, fulfillment, joy, right? I mean, there's so many ways. When I think about, how many clients will share with me that they're afraid to go to their boss and ask for that raise, or they're afraid to speak up in the boardroom, or they are afraid to speak on stages, or they're afraid to market themselves like I used to, or, go to these networking events. And very often, this lack of confidence shows up in so many areas of our life. And I think it's, if you're open to it, because this does take a lot of courage. I always invite my clients to say to them, and I think this is a powerful question, well, where is this showing up in your life, and how is this a problem, and what are you missing out on because of this, right? How many people are not able or willing to go on dates? They're afraid of, oh, what if that person doesn't like me, or, what if it doesn't go well, what if I am, and of course a lot of times our appearance, right? Oh, I can't do this until I lose weight. I can't do that until I fix my whatever. And so notice the time, and thank you for the hearts. Love that. Um, Happy birthday, James. Thanks, Melanie, for following my videos. I appreciate it. So again, happy birthday, James, and happy birthday to anybody whose birthday it is today. You deserve to be celebrated in a big way. So love to you. And speaking of confidence, you also deserve to be confident, right? So since we're on the subject, I also want to disclose, and I'm not going to mention any names, obviously, but please know you're not the only one. No, 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 no. So many people have this lack of self-confidence. They're not, afraid to put themselves out there, afraid to be seen, afraid to approach certain people, afraid to talk to those intimidating people, if you know what I mean, right? I get it. It's normal, it's human, it's natural, but it's not useful because it causes us to waste a lot of time. And one of the truly, as a hypnotherapist, one of my favorite things to do is help somebody, teach them how they can become as confident as they want to be, so that on command, on demand, they can literally push a button in their body. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but imagine if you could push a button and you could walk into a room and act like you own the room, right? And that's really what everybody wants. Whether it's the boardroom or the classroom or the courtroom, I think everybody wants to be as confident as they can possibly be. And by the way, that's available to anybody. I know what you're going to say. A lot of my clients will argue, but Susan, I've never been confident in my life. That's just not me. I'm an introvert, and I get it. That was me, shy. But I have another advantage over you, just FYI, since we're competing here, right? Look, the first 20 years of my life, I had a severe speech impediment, stuttering. So there, yeah, you can just imagine 20 years of that. Okay, talk about self-confidence. I didn't even know what that was. I could see it in other people and I could sense it, but me, no, not for me. So it caused me not only a huge delay and a disadvantage, but massive social anxiety. Connecting to human, no way, we're not doing that because that's scary because I'm going to sound like an idiot. That was the first 20 years of my life, right? And so, needless to say, I was way behind the eight ball when it came to speaking, public speaking, approaching people, connecting to people. And look, we all have a different background, we all have different trauma, we all have different experiences in our past. And it's very often those experiences that can shake up our confidence as an adult, where now all of a sudden, here you are, you're supposed to go out into the big world, right? And there's all these wolves all around, and you're supposed to be confident, and you're supposed to make it happen, and you're supposed to like show up as this perfectly polished professional, which I mean, right? And this is where the mind can play tricks on us and start to negotiate and distract us with negative self-talk and who do you think you are, you can't be that, and you're not educated enough, you're not experienced enough, you didn't put enough in time, you're not an expert yet. So the mind can get very messy, right, on trying to seduce us into this sort of doom and gloom thinking and worst case scenario, and all these bad things are going to happen and people are going to judge me and criticize me, and then I'm going to lose my reputation, and oh my, right? So that's the mind will often sneak in with these really awful suggestions. Look, I know because not only have I lived it, but this is what I hear from my clients every day. And I'm going to say this again because this is important. Anybody who wants to have unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable self confidence can achieve that. And this is where hypnotherapy is gold and powerful because it works with your subconscious. Now, a lot of people will try to do this with their conscious mind, with logic, with practicing more. I need to be more self disciplined. I need to work harder. I need to become an extrovert. I need to change my personality. None of that. Yes, a little bit of that. Sure, logic, right? Common sense. Yes, a little bit. But what if you have done all this muscling and working hard and you still don't feel confident, you still feel self-conscious and you feel shy, right? Well, now we got to get into your subconscious and identify what's going on here. What is the program that is in your subconscious that is running the show unbeknownst to you that is causing these problems? And this is kind of one of those come to Jesus moments with your subconscious where we get to the root cause and we're like, come, everybody, sit down, let's have a conversation because we need to understand which one of you is the saboteur, so to speak, right? And it's a beautiful experience because not only do you can you learn more about yourself, right? To really get to know who you are at the core, but you can also then learn what actually happened to you that caused this lack of confidence. And this is where, you get to, the transformation can happen so quickly. And at the same time, right, the proof is going to be in the pudding that after working together, you get to go out into the real world, as I say, and you get to play and let me know. Come back in a couple of days and let me know what you found. And that's when my clients will give me stories like, Susan, you won't believe what happened. In the past, I would go on dates and I would feel so self conscious and I would be afraid, or I would walk into the boardroom and I was always the quietest in the room and I wouldn't speak up and I wouldn't raise my hand and I always, pretended that I have nothing to. This time, I felt so different. I felt connected. I felt excited. I was so ready to speak my mind, right? Now, when it comes to speaking, right, there's two ways that we need to pay attention to. One is confidence, right, which is kind of a behavior and how we act, how we move. That's physiologically and psychologically, right? So that's one, and that's what we can influence with hypnotherapy powerfully. The other one comes is a skill set. So, for example, communication skills, right? I don't know about you, but nobody taught me communication skills as a kid. So, there was a lot of catching up to do because, of course, there is a way we can converse with people elegantly and with grace and with confidence and with compassion and with fluency that, and that's another skill that we can learn. And ultimately, though, it's important to note that our subconscious learns best by repetition, right? So, yes, initially in our sessions, what we do is we help you, right? First of all, get rid of that mental code, that mental program that is not working for you, and then give you something instead that you can begin to use and practice. And then with practice, the more you show up in the boardroom and the more you raise your hand and the more you speak up and the more you notice what it feels like, the more it's going to work for you. Eventually, confidence is just going to be your second, right? Your middle name. Like you're just going to automatically be that confident, charismatic person that you want it to be. So initially, we got to give you a little chance and opportunity, right, to show you how and what specifically to do in your subconscious. And then in time, just like any other habit, no matter who is there, no matter what's there, no matter what you want to say, no matter where you are, you can turn that on as if like pushing a button, you know? And again, so many people will think that their lack of self confidence is because of their personality, or because they're an introvert, or because they're shy, or that's just how everybody else in the family is. Well, that doesn't mean you can't change. It's depending on, right, what do you need it for, right? And if you can now see that, this problem is costing you a lot of promotions and income and respect and recognition and impact and connections, or you have a hard time cold calling or reaching out to certain prospects or getting in conversations with what maybe you call intimidating people. That's when this problem becomes very expensive because, it will literally hold you back from so much fulfillment and happiness and success, right? So at last, I want to share a little practice with you if you're open to it, so that you can, and this is just, listen, this is a generalized suggestion, because obviously we're not here one-on-one. If we were one-on-one, this would be a completely different conversation and session, but because this is catering to the group, I'm going to share a little hack that you can use right now. And notice how just even that little thing will shift how you feel about yourself and your confidence, okay? So think about this particular scene, this particular moment, this particular place where you would like to feel more confident. Again, it could be in the boardroom, could be in front of your boss, it could be in front of these important people, I don't know, whatever it is. Think about where specifically, or maybe it's a job interview, right? Right now, think about where specifically it would be really helpful for you to be more confident, where you can show up and be like, I am the boss, right? Maybe that's too much, but you're going to use your finesse here. So think about a specific space and place. And now, if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, and I were to ask you, well, what number confident are you? Where 10 is like you're radically like over the top, right? Super confident, that's a 10. And one is like, oh, Susan, I don't know about this whole confidence thing. That's just not me. So what number right now would you give yourself there? And please post it in the comments if you're here, right? Feel free to post. Um, so what number would you give yourself? And this is when some of my clients go, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine walking in a boardroom. I couldn't even imagine speaking up in front of my boss. I couldn't even imagine speaking to that particular person or going on that date, right? And so therefore the number would be like a 1 or a 2. Or maybe you're at a 5. You're like, I kind of get by, but I wish I didn't have the nerves. I wish I were less self-conscious, right? So give yourself the number. Now, put that aside, that picture, and now simply imagine. I want you to imagine as if you had a fan club around you, a cheering squad. Okay, I want you to now imagine that behind you and around you, and maybe in front of you, and above you and below you, there are some people from your past. It could even be pets, by the way. I mean, why not? Let's just use it all. Could even be spirit guides. It could be God. It could be angels. I don't care what it is. But I want you to imagine that around you are people, and this could be even family members like grandparents. Maybe they have passed away, but think about people in your life, past or present, alive or dead, doesn't matter, or pets, where you knew that they loved and adored you. They just appreciated you. They complimented you. When you were with them, you felt very comfortable. You felt loved. You felt appreciated. You felt adored. Imagine these people right here, right now, looking at you, reminding you all the things they love about you, reminding you, hey, thank you for doing this for me. Hey, thank you so much for showing up like that. Hey, I really appreciate the way you do X, Y, and Z. And now listen and feel what it feels like to get this kind of recognition, to get this kind of appreciation. Just be the center of attention and imagine all these people loving on you and thanking you and right reminding you how all these things from the past, right? Or maybe your pets came forward and thank you for how good you took care of them. And notice what that feels like to receive this kind of appreciation when there are and were people in your life that truly see who you are. They appreciate who you are. They connect with you. And notice what that feels like in your body, right? To be able to receive that kind of love, to be able to be celebrated, to be able to be seen and heard and understood. And now simply allow yourself to wallow in those feelings a little bit more. Now think about that situation that in the past, maybe you were not as confident, and notice what's happening now. Have you noticed the number has increased? Notice now as you are there, perhaps you're feeling a little bit more confident and more worthy and more appreciating about who you are, right? And so notice this was just a little tweak, right? Just a little tweak like that can cause you to feel more, and hopefully the number went up even just a little bit. Because even if it went up just a little bit, that already shows us, of course, you can change. Of course, you can, gain the ability to be more confident, right? And so this is what I get to do with my clients every day. So look, whether we're talking about a confidence reset, helping you get into peak state on command, on demand when you need it, the way you want it, or helping you stop anxiety in its tracks, anxiety, panic, PTSD, trauma. Those happen to be my favorite children because a lot of people suffer needlessly. Okay, this is something that you don't have to continue enduring for the rest of your life if it's something we can fix in literally a couple of weeks, and especially when it comes to things like fear of speaking or feeling confident in certain situations. Those are some of the easiest things because it's so contextual, right? And when you get the experience, you get to work with your subconscious and you get to rewire those networks. Literally, this is like your nervous system and your body, which is your subconscious, right? When it becomes an experience and then you go out into the real world and you put this into action. I mean, talk about blowing your mind. Like literally, this is no pun intended, but this is exactly what can happen in a short time through the power of your subconscious. So If you want to connect with me, please don't be shy. Obviously, feel free to follow for more if this is the kind of subject that you're interested and fascinated with, as I am. And, I think it's useful to say that for me, the only one of the reasons, the main reasons I pursued this career is because I too finally found something that helped me, that worked for me, that where I saw a radical difference and change. And that's when I was like, oh, wait a minute, I got to pay attention here because this is too good to be true at first. But then it turned out, no, it's not too good to be true. This is real. This is possible. And anybody who is sick and tired of being sick and tired wants to, like I said, break free of panic attacks, anxiety, trauma, childhood trauma, PTSD, these tools are very, very powerful. Your mind is extremely powerful given the right approach, given the right instructions, given the right solution. Just like, I mean, think about it. When somebody breaks their leg, and they are actually going to the right doctor who gives them the right treatment, sets the right cast. Who does the healing? The doctor? No, you do the healing. Same exact thing with this method. It's not me who does the healing, you do the healing. You just need the right approach. So thanks for being here. Feel free to like and follow for more and let me know what questions you have. Also, if you want to connect with me personally, in my bio, you will find a link where you can just book a call. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Until next time. Oh, the button is over here. Here we go.